All right, we are going. We're live. We're doing it. Although last week wasn't live because the internet like crapped out. It was like really buggy.
Wait,
So
really?
I just recorded it. It still got recorded. It just didn't go live, which is
Oh,
fine.
okay,
It's not a
okay.
big deal.
Feels
Anyway,
okay.
yeah, it's F101 2026 episode 19. It's the Hungary review. It's a skeleton crew tonight. It's just me,
Yay.
your host, Max, and I'm joined by Hannah.
Yay, I'm here.
Yeah, Hannah's here. So it's just us for now. Uh, I don't know who's gonna show up late, if anyone's gonna show up late, but we'll roll with it. We'll roll with whatever happens. I'm more than happy to just yap and go over the race in Hungary because it was pretty well. There was a few things that happened. But before we do that, we got to talk about the standings. So, and this is going into the summer break. So, halfway through the season, officially, Mercedes is in front with 379, and Ferrari is 72 points behind them at 307. And the McLaren is in third with 220. That's your top three. Red Bull's in fourth with 177. And then the battle for fifth between the Racing Bulls and Alpine. Racing Bulls sit at 66, Alpine at 61. And then you got Haas with 21, Audi with 12, Williams with 11, Aston Martin with 1, and Cadillac with 0. And then for the drivers, Kimi Antonelli has a 50-point lead over Lewis Hamilton. He has 219 points to Hamilton's 169. And then he's got a 59-point lead over Russell. Russell's at 160. Then Leclerc's in fourth with 138. 10 points behind him is Norris. And then 19 points behind Norris is Verstappen. And then Piastri's got 92. Hydro with 68. Lawson with 43. Gasly one behind Lawson at 42. Then Lindblad with 23. Pinto at 19. Behrman 18. Bortoleto has 10. Sainz has 6. Albon has 5. Ocon has 3, Hulkenberg has 2, Alonso has 1, and then Stroll, Bottas, and Perez all have nothing. So that is our standings. And it's the Hungary review. That's all there is this week. And there was something in the water in Hungary, and it was dust. That's what was in the water in Hungary. It was dust. It was extremely dusty. There was a shot in P2, practice 2, I think it was, where one of the cars went offline, like off the racing line and like I think off the track and they like ran through the dust and it literally looked like they were doing a rally in Dakar, like just straight up in the desert. It was crazy. It was a crazy shot. But Lando won the race, and it was an interesting way to get there. But Lando won, and Verstappen was in second, and Antonelli was in third. That's your podium. And then, excuse me, Leclerc was in fourth, Hamilton in fifth, Hadjar in sixth, Russell in seventh, Lawson in eighth, Hulkenberg in ninth, and Lindblad in 10th. That's your point scores. And then Bortoleto, Gasly, Stroll and Alonso 13th and 14th. Colapinto, Ocon, Albon, Sainz, and Behrman. And then Bottas, Perez, and Piastri did not finish the race. It was a good day for Lando, Kimi, Max Verstappen, but you wouldn't believe it if you listened to his radio. Audi and Aston Martin. Can't believe I'm putting Aston Martin in the good day category, and Nate isn't even here to say it. See it. It was a bad day for Oscar Piastri, Lewis Hamilton, George Russell, Williams, Alpine, and the color blue. And then it was a bad PR day for Carlos Sainz. Um,
Ugh.
which we'll get into right now. But first, before we do that, we're starting with Lando Norris. Objectively, the fastest driver on Saturday and Sunday. He wasn't necessarily fast on Friday, but when it counted, he was. He was the only person on Saturday to improve on his final qualifying lap, in Q3, that is. And even if he didn't, he wasn't really in danger of losing pole. I mean, it just felt like he was going to get it the entire session. And he did win the race from pole, being one of the two drivers in the last like 8 races to do so. But it was a journey because off the start, he actually took the lead on lap one on like turn two. and he held that lead for a good long time. And Norris, who was the faster driver, was just stuck because you can't really overtake here very well. And you're not going to be McLaren's drivers aren't going to like Norris isn't going to make a dive bomb on Piastri like that, and Piastri wouldn't do it to Norris. Like turn one, like lap one, turn one is different than like sending it in the middle of the race. They're not like at they're they're not really they're trying to maximize points. They're not trying to like fight for championships or anything. So, um, but it didn't matter because Piastri pits and then Norris just puts out some belter laps to erase and overcome the deficit. And but what happened was Piastri's lapping cars, and oh hi Nate,
Hey,
Okay.
and you did miss it. I'm talking about I gave Norris his flowers, but I did give Aston Martin. I put them in my good day category.
oh, but you haven't gotten to them yet, right?
No, 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 no. They're closer to the end. They're not at the end, but they're closer to it. Um.
Okay, that's on our
Anyway,
way.
yeah. Anyway, Piastri was uh lapping cars, and he gets to Sainz, who is battling with Alonso, and Sainz is told on the radio, "Hey, Alonso has blue flags for Piastri." So obviously you have blue flag for Piastri too, but he
Mhm.
doesn't move out of the way. And apparently there was a system malfunction in the blue flag system, so it wasn't showing up on the driver's steering wheel like it normally does, and that was happening to everybody. But again, the engineers were still in contact with Carlos, and he hit Piastri. They collided, and it basically ruined uh any chance for Piastri to win the race with that contact. And being stuck behind the traffic. Um, Piastri did retire later, but it was with a gearbox issue, I believe, or some other mechanical issue. I just know that the issue was unrelated to the crash. But still, Signs could have used his mirrors, could have listened to his engineer. He knew Piastri was behind, and Piastri was so pissed off, and honestly, he had every right to be. And then Sainz's reaction post race and continuing at like to today even has not been a good look for Sainz. And then Piastri kind of took some shots at him. He was like, he's fighting like this for last place. To be fair, I don't think it was actually last place, but the point still stands. Um, and Piastri is very critical of Sainz, saying he's always one to complain, but when he's like at fault, he doesn't take the blame. Sainz doesn't like kind of doesn't apologize publicly or anything like that, and it's been a huge mess for Sainz, and everyone has been clowning on him all week, basically. And he kind of deserves it, unfortunately. I do like Sainz, but like I said, it was a bad PR day for him, and it's continued to be a
Hmm.
bad PR week for Carlos. And unfortunately, because nothing else has really happened until there's like a major story, this is all anyone's going to talk about for the summer break. So it's not great. So, but yeah, so Piastri retires, unrelated to the crash, but the crash was a huge story. And it was a mixed bag for McLaren. They got the first non-Mercedes pole, but and then Norris converted it to a win, his first ever win as the defending world champion, and it was a win he totally earned. He was objectively the fastest. But then Piastri retired, and there was all the drama. And once again, it feels like kind of a little bit of a throwback to last year, to when a Mercedes would win, there would always be some other, or I'm sorry, a McLaren, when McLaren won, there would always be some other drama taking away the spotlight from the actual win. And sometimes that was self-inflicted, but not this time. So everyone kind of agrees the crash was totally on Signs. He should have gotten out of the way. Malfunction or not, you still got your engineer in your ear, and you've got mirrors on the car, you know? So, uh,
Indeed.
but it was a great, great weekend for Lando. And Oscar came out after the race to celebrate with Lando, which was nice. If he stayed in his like motorhome after the race for like hours and hours, wouldn't have blamed him. So, whoa. Yeah, so that's McLaren. But it was a good race for them and a great way for them to go out on the summer break with everyone being like, "Oh, McLaren won." Sorry, there's a cat meowing at me.
I just heard him like through
It was
your.
the long, like no joke, it was like a 10-second long meow. What's
Oh
wrong?
God.
Has a
Anyway,
lot to say.
he does.
He does. He's upset about Oscar probably, and about
Yeah,
Sainz.
he's disappointed
I'm.
in Sainz for sure. This is a Willie. That's a Williams household.
It is a Williams household over here, and I
Crazy.
am probably the most disappointed out of anyone. It was just rough because
We
I'm
gotta
like,
put
I can't
our
defend him, bro.
we
I
gotta
can't
put our
defend him.
Lego we gotta put our Lego Carlos Sainz in timeout.
We really do. He can go like under the couch or something.
Like turn him around, put him in the corner.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we have like one of the Williams F1 cars. All the cars are facing one direction. I'll turn the Williams car around.
yeah. We also
We
we also
also
have.
have.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we have one too.
We have two Red Bulls, a McLaren, and a Williams.
This was a Red Bull house first and foremost, in case
That is
anyone was
true. That is
wondering.
true.
So, yeah, that was McLaren. They did great. And Lando specifically, their strategy, it didn't really matter. I don't know if it was like spectacular. I think there was a little bit of like, I think the consensus is they probably could have handled the pit stops better, but ultimately it didn't matter. Lando won.
They usually do.
He was so fast. It was crazy how much faster he was than anybody else.
Well,
Um,
wait, didn't Signs get like fastest overall? Am I misremembering
he
that?
had the highest top
He
speed,
hit the top speed.
That's the top
Yeah.
speed. That's what I'm
but
thinking
that's
of.
been a Williams
Which
thing for a
is
while now. They've always,
which,
well, not always, but they've had the highest top speed for like for a long time. They always end up somehow at the top of like that
Just
that's the
list.
never
funny
maintained enough.
thing.
Yeah.
It's so funny and ironic, especially this weekend when they were like posting about it on social media. They're like, Signs fastest top speed, and everyone's like, we don't care.
Yeah.
It was great.
Wasn't
Feel
very
bad
fast
for
when it
them.
came to getting out of the way.
Yeah.
Nope, not very reactive.
What are you doing? Sorry, now he's like
What is he doing over
he's
there?
climbing around in my closet now. Whatever. Anyway, moving on to Mercedes, our championship leaders. They also kind of had a mixed bag. Antonelli qualified second, but he had a three-place grid drop for a yellow flag infringement in qualifying. He did lift like George did in Austria, but he didn't slow down enough, and he got hit with that penalty. Russell, it was just slow. Qualified in seventh or whatever it was, and then at the start, his car went into anti-stall, and he dropped all the way down to 21st. He did recover up to seventh, but Antonelli I'm sorry. So he recovers at the seventh. Antonelli does get up to third. Maybe Antonelli challenges for the win if he started in the second instead of fifth. But even that's not a given since Mercedes were pretty much like they're pretty off pace this weekend compared to normal. They were very slow. Uh, I think it's probably like Red Bull and Singapore situation, especially like Singapore 2023. It's like the one race Red Bull didn't win that year. They just weren't good. I feel like maybe a lot of it is just like the track did not suit the car, which happens. I don't think like anyone's going to be going into Zandvoort being like, "Oh, Mercedes is count them out." So, uh, Russell, though, is also on his last power unit. So it's a 10-place grid drop awaiting him in the future. The power unit he's on physically cannot last the rest of the season. They're just not designed to last that long. So, yeah, Mercedes gets a podium, but Russell has a horrible time. He does a Checo impression, which is start at the back and then make everyone think that you're really, really fast by overtaking all the back markers. And ultimately, he gets up to seventh, and not what he wanted nor what he needed going into the summer break. He's still in third place. Antonelli extends his lead over both of his main competitors in the championship right now, which is great for Antonelli. And Russell has got a 59-point deficit. So that's at least 3 races of a Russell that's at bare minimum 3 races for Russell to overcome, and that would require Kimi to DNF twice. So
Damn.
it's a long way back. Although Max almost did it last year, so you can't really count anyone out. But I don't think Russell's as good as Max. But he has the car to do it. As long as again that's going to require Kimi to really suck. So that's Mercedes. So they kind of had like I mean they're slow, but they kind of had like a quiet like weekend. And also slow was Ferrari. They were kind of nowhere. Hamilton kind of like uh Hamilton and Verstappen were battling for a lot of this race. Hamilton did get a successful undercut, but then like the next lap, Max Verstappen just dive bombs Hamilton from like a mile back and gets the overtake, which was awesome for me to watch as a Verstappen fan. Awful for Ferrari fans to watch for sure. But Ferrari just couldn't overtake on track. Um, Even in like the one overtaking zone in turn one, they just couldn't do anything. And then to top it off, Hamilton got another speeding in the pit lane penalty. I think that's his second of the year, maybe third, and it dropped him below Leclerc, even though he finished ahead of Leclerc on track. And during a late virtual safety car, which was caused by Piastri, Hamilton nearly overtook Antonelli during his pit stop. But when they got to pit exit, Antonelli was on track. Hamilton was coming out of the pit. It was determined that Antonelli was ahead. And so Hamilton gave the place back and then just didn't have the car to compete. And then, so that was third place. That was the battle for third place at the end. So not a great weekend for Ferrari. Not the performance they wanted to bring into the summer break. Um, another top team who kind of had like just a quietly poor weekend. And I don't even know what Leclerc was doing, to be honest. He was just driving, I guess. He was just there.
Yeah, he's just there.
They did tell him to bring it into a rhythm, and he responded with what rhythm? That was funny. And that was like his highlight of the race, I guess. Verstappen, he did get that Red Bull back on the podium after an amazing long run on the soft tires at the end of the race. He had no right giving those tires racing on them for as many laps as he did. Um, and even with the VSC from Piastri going out of the race, he stayed out. He didn't pit, and it promoted him to second, and he just kept it. The tires lasted, like I said, so much longer than they should have, which is great. Great to see. And all the jokes about the car were actually like pathetic. Everyone was joking that the car doesn't have tire degradation, it has car degradation. And this race kind of proved that. They didn't have tire degradation at all. Why did he take the softs like 30 plus laps? Um, so, but both drivers were in pretty bad moods after qualifying. Hadjar had like his head resting on the microphones, like in disappointment. Max was pretty upset as well. They don't like the performance of the car. They don't like the handling of the car. But despite that, the race went decently well. Hamilton did have to hold. I'm sorry, Hadjar had to hold off Hamilton twice. For Verstappen, must have like hurt his soul because Hamilton's his hero. And yeah, I think it's an okay weekend with an unexpected strong result. And Hannah Schmidt's the strategy. He's the GOAT. But Red Bull needs to do better. I don't think this is like an acceptable weekend for them. They have Max Verstappen. Give him a car he deserves. And I hope they really work on it when they can over the summer break. Moving on to the midfield. The battle between the midfield is between VCarb and Audi, at least on track. On the standings, it's VCarb and Alpine, but on track, it's VCarb and Audi. VCarb took over fifth in the constructors, kind of felt inevitable, but it wasn't Alpine they were battling on track. It was Audi, who have really made some improvements in their car, but they're so far behind on points that it's going to be tough for them to even challenge VCarb or Alpine in the standings. Especially when again the top 8 positions are pretty much locked down. But they can still fight them on track, and they absolutely are. Audi was very impressive this weekend, and last weekend. They're on the up. and they're fighting with the V carbs, which I don't think anyone really expected. When it comes to V carb, Lindblad is objectively, I think, the better qualifier of the two, but Lawson has the better race pace. But that being said, Lindblad, super promising talent, gets that race pace up. He's gonna be dangerous. And Alpine has kind of just slipped further and further behind. They weren't anywhere close to V carb and Audi this weekend. And the battle between these three teams, though, when they get close to each other on track, it's great. And there is a fourth team threatening to get involved. Threatening. Not there yet, but they might. And that team is Aston Martin.
Welcome to the midfield. They did it. I'm so perplexed.
It's a miracle. Their upgrades work. They went from so far back they should have been relegated to finishing 13th and 14th. And that's without the new Honda engine. Maybe Newey is back. Maybe he is. I don't know. It's shocking how much they improve. Truly shocking. It doesn't erase how awful they were, but though. Like, we can't forget how awful they were at the start of the year. But they are improving. They sucked so bad, and now they're actually improving, and there is genuine hope from the team. As you've noticed, they are no longer the last team to be covered in F101, which is kind of like a banner of shame to have that position. But the thing is, they should have at least started where they are now. At the beginning of the year, they should have been where they are now or better. So it took them half of a year to get to that point. But it's recovery, and it's a really positive step for them. It's what they needed, and Zandvoort should be good for them if that Honda engine upgrade is better. They had a good weekend, and I'm okay with saying that. I'm okay with saying that they had a good weekend, and 13th and 14th is worth celebrating for a team that was finishing below, like, who were a second to lap slower than Cadillac. Like, it's a crazy improvement in the car.
It's so
Yeah,
crazy
crazy.
to think.
Crazy to all the
Yeah.
non-believers out there.
You can't blame any of us for being a non-believer after the first however many, like 10 races or 11. Actually, how many races have there been?
Who knows?
I can tell you right now.
Yeah.
There have been 11 races. So after the first 11 races, you can't blame any of us for being non-believers after what had transpired.
Look, just say it. They did it, and that's only
They'll get
half.
to it.
That's
They
only
did.
half. They're gonna be racing with Racing Bulls next time
Yeah,
out.
but they're so far behind in points, they're not going to catch them.
You
That's
never
okay.
know.
That's okay.
Well, that just means they'll finish lower in the standings. They'll get more wind tunnel time for next year. 4D chess.
It's gonna be a beautiful thing. It's gonna be a beautiful thing.
They have truly improved. It's a miracle. Everyone was shocked. I had no faith that the upgrades were going to work. So it all comes down to this Honda engine in Zandvoort now. If the engine can be good, the engine can be an improvement, that'll be huge for the team. Maybe they'll get to the point. Maybe. I don't know if a podium is on the cards for Aston just yet, but
But
it's
points for sure. Points for sure.
yeah. Well, probably before the end of the year, certainly. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with the new engine. The
How did
problem with
Lance get
the problem with
above
the original.
Alonso?
I'm sorry. What?
They didn't.
He didn't?
They didn't. Alonso was like left out for a while before
They're on
finish.
different
Oh,
strategies. Very different.
okay. Got it.
Yeah. The original problem with the car was that the engine didn't fit, and they had to redesign the car like last minute to fit the engine. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. But I could see it happening again, just because of how Aston Martin's year has gone. But I'm glad that you're here, Nate, so you could be here for me admitting that Aston improve.
Man, and I said I'd bet the house on Honda. So if anything, like the fact that they got, this first set of upgrades right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got a lot of hope in the power unit upgrade.
We'll see. We'll see what they can do. But yes, they're good-ish. Well, they're not good, but they're fine. It was a good weekend for them, all things considered. Um, Moving on, Haas, they were slow and the car sucked, despite getting upgrades. According to Komatsu, he says that there have been 3 weekends where the drivers actually had uh, equal cars in terms of like issues slash no issues or balance or whatever. And I assume that those 3 weekends were probably closer to the start of the year. This weekend was not one of those 3 weekends. Behrman was really struggling with the car. He could not get a handle on it. And then he got 10-second penalty at the end of it for ignoring blue flags. So he had a horrible time. It just Haas is just the most
Excuse
inconsistent.
me.
Like they're consistently bad, but the way the car performs is the most inconsistent on the grid. And it doesn't look like that's changing anytime soon. I don't know when their next upgrade package comes. I'm assuming it's Zandvoort. Um, but they got to fix the balance on the car to actually like respond in the way like in a way that a driver is expecting. Because right now, I think that's what's happening. Is it's not behaving at all, and the neither the drivers know what to expect at any given like corner or any given racetrack. Um, and that makes it hard to drive from week to week. So that's Haas's biggest issue. The other American team, Cadillacs, both of them failed. Bottas had another brake fire, and Perez had another suspension issue. And I wonder if their repetitive issues have anything to do with their driving styles. Bottas is the one with all the brake fires, and Perez is the one with all the suspension issues. Maybe Bottas is actually harder on the brakes than Perez is, but Perez is taking more curb than Bottas is, and that's causing like these very specific issues to happen. Just a thought. That's not been confirmed or anything. But expectations for them are low. I think I'm dialing back on the Cadillac Hopium until I read a news article over the summer break that says they're gonna have a huge upgrade, and then I'll be right back into it. But for now, we're dialing back on the Cadillac Hopium. And now it's for our new final team. It's a new last team alert. It's Williams. Sorry to all the Williams fans out there. But what is happening at Williams? They've been so bad all year, and they haven't improved. And now you have all this drama from the race with Sainz. On top of that, Valve releases this video, and he's like, "Our next big upgrades in Baku." Like earlier in the year, they're like, "This is the one. This is gonna get Williams back to the midfield and back to like the top of the midfield." And Valve was just like, "Yeah, for that Baku upgrade, it's not gonna be good. It's not gonna do much." So like what's going on? Is Sainz gonna jump ship? Does Valve need to clear house? Does Albon's suffering ever end? All these questions for them to ponder over the summer break. They've been really bad this year, and it's really not looking like it's gonna improve. And right now they are at the center of attention, which is not where they want to be, especially with all of their other issues. Um, so rough time out for Williams. They had a horrible time on track, and their promised big upgrade package is being downplayed already, and it's usually not a good sign. So Williams kind of a mess right now, and I think deserving at least this weekend of our final spot. And that's Hungary. That's Hungary. Anyone have any thoughts on Hungary? Anything I didn't mention, or maybe questions or whatever?
Yeah, just a lot of disappointment from me.
Yeah,
That's my
very fair.
biggest takeaway.
Yeah. It doesn't help that like it's like 4 days after the race, 5 days, whatever, and the PR around it is still just as bad. He hasn't said anything, and I don't
I
think it's
know.
just gonna like blow over.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for Piastri. That was also rough.
Oh yeah,
Bro was going through it.
he was so pissed on the radio.
Him and Max were both mad as hell. Whole house mad this weekend.
Well, Max is normally like that, to be fair,
Yeah,
but
that
he
is
was
fair.
mad at the V carbs. He was very upset with the V carbs.
Hmm.
I think they all needed a break with the
Yeah,
frustrations of the year for them.
yeah. The one person who probably doesn't want to break is Kimmy because he's doing so well.
Probably not.
George needs the break. Lewis, at least, especially after this weekend, probably needs the break. Charles as well. So a lot of people. A lot of people are going to take the break. So let's talk about the break real quick. The summer break. It's 4 weeks long, starting Monday, this previous Monday. And of those 4 weeks, for 2 consecutive weeks, the teams cannot do any work on the car. They can't do any like social media. They can't do anything. It's like a mandatory break. Everyone gets to go home and spend time with some family, which is very important for the engineers and the mechanics and the pit crew, anyone who's not a celebrity status driver and is putting in all these hours of work and stuff like that. And it's also a good time for the drivers to mentally reset and prepare for the second half. Norris did this last year and it made the world of difference. His performance at the beginning of the year, pre-summer break and post-summer break, worlds apart. And he won the championship because of it. And he probably would have won more races at the second half of the year if he wasn't going against Max. So uh, it's an important time for everyone in the sport. It does kind of suck for us because it's like 4 weekends in a row where there's no racing, and we already had the 5 week spring break, and it's like, oh come on, but it's just the summer break is standard. The teams can pick which two back-to-back weeks they take their break. But most choose weeks 2 and 3. No one ever chooses 3 and 4 because that backs you up to the race weekend when you want to be working on the car. So that's the brief summer break. And welcome in, Dave. Right at the end,
Yeah,
huh?
what's yeah, the juice is loose. I'm here. I'm here to talk about how angry the drivers are.
Yeah, we just hit
Uh,
that.
Yeah, I'm saying whole house mad.
everyone's mad at all times, especially George and Oscar and Lewis. It's a good time. It's a good time to be making new F1 teams.
Yeah, yeah. You also, Dave, Aston Martin is no longer in the final spot in the document.
I mean, Alonso Q2. Can we talk about
Mm-hmm.
that? Hulkenberg points.
Mm-hmm.
This is a big day for some of the drivers I talked trash about last week. Talk some trash. Alonso and Hulkenberg and Ocon. Ocon, I think, got a point, right? Did he?
No.
Well, he did better. he got to Q.
He did
He
better
did
than
better.
Behrman.
Yeah, Behrman did awful. It was still kind of a good day for Ocon. And then, of course, terrible days for Oscar and some of the other drivers that are maybe moving teams next year with Max versus McLaren or Aston or Mercedes or wherever he's going.
Yes. So, and Williams was our last team.
Oh yeah, they deserve it. Yeah, everyone else is doing better besides Cadillacs and Williams did worse. Shall
So,
be.
yeah, that is. Um, we'll talk about the summer break episode soon, but first, some pick the podium. And this actually, Dave, I'm glad you're here because it was robbery for you. You were so close to getting first place right, but Sainz ruined that for you.
Oh, I
And
didn't
I
even
have
know.
evidence. I told this to Hannah mid race and I texted Sam. I said, if he actually wins, I'm going to double Dave's points. But
I would have.
unfortunately, that didn't happen. And even if I doubled your points, if you got 50 points instead of 25, you still would have less than half of what Nate has. So I figured it was fine.
I'm in my own league, okay? I'm in the Cadillac league, okay? I'm in the Aston Martin league. I'm in the Williams league back here.
It's
You
not Aston
ended
Martin League
last year
anymore, all
with
right? Let's
98 points. Do you think you're going to beat that this year?
No, there's less races, and there's more drivers
Well,
to choose from that won't score points.
actually, interestingly enough, they just rescheduled the Bahrain Grand Prix, but it's in Malaysia. So it's called the F1 Bahrain Grand Prix in Malaysia. We didn't really talk about that. And also today, or I guess like last night, Dominicelli, the CEO of F1 or whatever, he was like, mid-September is when they're going to decide if they're racing in Qatar and Abu Dhabi. And if they're not, then they're going to end the season in Europe. They're looking at ending the season in Imola, which is very funny because that track is going to be. It hasn't aged well with the new cars because it's so narrow. It's a little like Hungary, no one can overtake. Kind of like
Hmm.
a very interesting place to have the finale. But Portimao has been suggested, and so has Turkey, which is where it is on. Turkey's on the calendar next year, no matter what. So um, it'll be. I would love to see them go. Turkey's a good track. Portimao is great. I don't know if they're going to make it to Portimao. I think it would need extensive renovations because they haven't raced there in a bit. Um, but yeah, so we'll know in September, mid-September, we'll know if the season is ending in the Middle East or not. And my guess is at this rate, probably not.
Yeah,
And
it's
the world
probably
is
gonna be
gonna.
Europe.
So
The war's over about every other day, and it's back on every other day. So I don't think they're gonna take the chance.
Hmm.
yeah, probably not. And so there would be no Middle Eastern races this year, which would make NBS so mad, which would make me so happy. So I'd be okay with that. Um, but yeah, the summer break is here. Um, the next like actual F1 episode, F101 episode is August, or I'm sorry, no, it is. It's August. What is it? August 20th, and that's our Netherlands. It's our Zandvoort preview. Um, and between then and now, though, either next week or the week after, we're going to do our summer episode, our annual summer episode. We'll have, I think we're going to do new tier lists. I'm going to ask everyone to make a tier list ranking the drivers on whatever criteria you want to. We're going to do a redraw of the grid, like I mentioned last week. Basically, you have to swap all 22 drivers. No one can be at their original teams. And you are allowed to replace one driver with anybody you want, but that replaced driver cannot be Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll has to be on the grid. And I already did mine, and I added new team principles for every team. You don't have to do that, but if you decide to, pure anarchy. Add whoever you want. I don't care.
Let's go.
Uh,
I can already see who Hamilton's team principal is, and she's wearing
who
a
do you
suit.
who do you think Hamilton's team principal is in my thing?
Uh, mm, I'm looking at two options here on the Google Sheets,
Oh,
and I'll go with the Rich Minion. Yeah, he looks like he'd be a good team principal.
you'll have to wait and see. I will say I did design Aston Martin specifically to make Nate upset, so that is something to look forward to.
Lovely.
I did it specifically for you. But yeah, so next week or the week after, I guess it really depends on which one more people can make. Do you guys know off the top of your head since you're here
The week after.
for the
Yeah, I'll
13th?
be. Yeah, I'm driving up to Massachusetts on Thursday, next Thursday.
All right. So we got one vote for the 13th.
Uh,
I'm
Go
fine
ahead,
with
Sam.
that too because next week is going to be busier for me for work.
Yeah, that's two. I can do either. I am leaning the 13th because it gives everyone also more time to do their grid and their tier lists. So it looks like we'll be doing that. Unless, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But yeah, so either the 6th or the 13th will be our summer episode, and then we'll be back on the 20th with the Zandvoort preview and any of the drama that happened over the summer break. But that's this week's episode. I got nothing else. Any final thoughts?
Were there any style points given out? Russell was almost out lap 1. It was kind of close.
There was almost another hostage situation too between McLaren.
Yeah, it was getting pretty close for a couple of us. There's no Audi DNF. Russell makes a pass lap 1. DNF's a long puncture. He does not.
We got close.
What do you guys consider a hostage situation?
Why?
Similar to the
Oh.
2024.
I just didn't know. I haven't asked yet.
Do you know what happened with McLaren 2 years ago here?
No. You're gonna have to refresh.
Okay.
Oh.
Nate, you can mute me if you want.
It's reopening wounds.
What happened was Piastri was ahead of Norris, but they gave Norris the better pit strategy. They pitted Norris first, and you can't, as you saw, overtake here very easily. So they pit Norris kind of midway through the race, and then they pit Piastri after. And then for about 20 laps or so, you've got everybody on this team radio being like, Lando, please, give the position back to Oscar. They were like, you can't win a championship on your own. Imagine if Andrea Stella was on your shoulder telling you what to do, because I guess he wasn't there that weekend. It was so crazy. So I think it had to have been similar to that, I think, for it to count as a hostage situation.
Okay, I got it. I remember that now. I didn't watch that season, but I remember it, like seeing a bunch of videos on it.
You definitely watched Drive to Survive and the recounting of it there. 1000%.
It was getting pretty close. It was getting pretty close. It was just like disobeying team orders, but Oscar lost his step before anything could happen.
Yeah.
He lost his footing.
We might have gotten there. Yeah, so that's the show. Thank you guys for being here. I'll see you. I guess we'll take next week off and we'll see everyone in 2 weeks for the summer episode.
All right.
I will link a tier list to fill out in the Discord. I will find one and I will link it tomorrow or something. I'll do it soon. And you can fill it out using whatever criteria you want. I just ask that if you do like a fun one, which everyone, I know I probably will, do one that's like actually your genuine rankings, and also do the fun one.
Fine.
It's fun to compare. Dave, you do what you want. You have a pass.
But thank you.
You have a pass.
I'll probably do a serious one, but obviously my serious one will be serious in different categories.
Yes, yeah. You can do. You've given me thumbnails for every episode. You can do whatever the hell you want.
There's less rookies this year, which means that some of my tier list can be expanded.
I unfortunately know exactly what that means, and I think we're going to end the episode on that. Good night, everybody. Thank you for being here. If you want to find out what that means, be back here in 2 weeks. Thank you, and I almost disconnected from the call instead of stop the stream. All right, good night.